do just that. Hey, ancient dragon! They said your mother's ugly. Who's talking about my mama?
Thank you to our final patrons, Strawbones, Redwolf4765, and Midnight Gemlord. Now, before I get into this breakdown / review of chapter 334 of Black Clover, please include your own chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below, and support for as low as count up $1 a month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Some of that exclusive content being the live reaction to this very chapter. Now, let's hop into chapter 344. What's up, guys? I'm the Pencil here. Here we are to do a breakdown and review of chapter 344 of Black Clover, which is known as Writhing Sacred Pulse. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I really ain't. I ain't gonna lie, that dragon kind of heat. But enough of that, let's hop right into the chapter itself. So we open up, and we do get to see that Lucius is talking to somebody. And he's not just talking to anybody. He's talking to Morris, of all people. Yeah, you know, Morris, that guy who was the true host to Lucci's power before he ended up getting, well, you know, eaten by Lucci when Lucci finally decided to manifest. Yeah, he made it. And specifically, thanks to Lucius. Impressive. I legit don't know. Like, I can sort of get how Lucius can save, but then again, I suppose if Lucius just has general manipulation of souls, he could just do that. He could just not care and figure it out himself. Because we see Morris, who is now missing an arm, both of his legs, and is in a wheelchair, is like, when Lucci manifested, I was dragged into his vessel. It's thanks to you that I'm still alive, Lucius. But why have you called me here? Interesting. I'm guessing, I suppose he just has manipulation over the remains of Lucci? I mean, it's not like there's much remains left. I don't know. It's interesting that he was able to salvage Morris's body from here. But it's Lucius, so not all too surprised. But with that being the case, we do find out why Lucius called Morris here. And it's actually to, as Lucius puts it, give him as much salvation as he is currently capable of. And we see behind Lucius are his 3 younger siblings. And notably, they all seem to be in like this weird restorative pod thing. Like, the branches that are reaching out from Lucius's throne are connected to all of them. Xenon, Dante, and Vanica. And seemingly they're all under different states of disrepair. Like, Dante's body seems to be in the second worst case. Like, he has cracks all over his body everywhere, and he seems to be kind of out of it. Meanwhile, Vanica seems to have it the worst because her body is still all blacked out from when Meji just straight spawned through her. Meanwhile, Xenon, ironically enough, looks mostly fine, except the thing that you can see if you look closely enough is that he's still missing his heart. Like, that deal he made with Buggy Boy ended up going through to the point where bro's whole chest is missing. And with that being the case, like, how did bro once again, when did bro go through and retrieve all these bodies? Like, I can see, because see, Jack cut up Dante, like, straight as Dante was reviving after the end of the Magne fight. Jack was like, that's all me. So I could explain all the different slices on his body. Vanica, I mean, I guess no one really got rid of Vanica. Meji became the main threat, so they kind of just were like, okay, we'll take care of Meji. We'll leave Vanica be, because they assumed she was just gone. And Xenon, I guess he was just left lying around there with a hole in his chest, so I suppose they're really, now that I think about it, it makes sense that they're all just fine. Like, there's no real reason for any of our cast, especially with Lucci on the horizon, to really go back and be thorough and, like, light their bodies on fire or something like that to make sure they don't come back. So I can see how Lucius kind of just preyed on the situation in order to make it so that his family could be saved. Though, I'm not sure how peaceful this saving that they're going through is right now, though, because they're just kind of vibing there. Like, do they think, are they sentient right now? Like, I can see Vanica not being sentient. Once again, entirely blacked out, so likely soulless. But like Dante, Xenon, y'all still alive? Then again, Xenon is missing his whole heart, so who knows? With that being the case, the main reason we're here is not just for them, it's for Morris. And interestingly enough, we see that when Morris is given salvation, quote unquote, Lucius doesn't leave his chair that's connected to his 3 siblings, and he taps Morris on the chest this time, not on the head, and due to that, Morris gets an entirely new body, to a point where his lost sight is even restored, and apparently this is beyond just simple recovery magic. This is flat out giving Morris a whole new body, and it actually makes sense, because you got to remember what all the primary magics of this family are. They're all some variation of body magic. Dante has body magic, Zealand has bone magic, Vanica has blood magic, and Lucius has soul magic. So in terms of restoring Morris's whole, physiology, that is entirely capable within someone who now can wield the power of all 3 of them. I'm assuming he can only do it through the throne, though, which is why he doesn't stand up. Which is interesting. It seems like these 3 siblings are at their best when they are all together, but assumedly Lucius, someone with much higher IQ than all of them, probably combined, could probably use all their abilities much better. So it makes me wonder, is he really restoring them in those pods, or is he simply using them as, tools? I know he said he was going to restore his siblings, I'm pretty sure, or that the Dark Triad still lives or something like that, but still, you never know. They could just be more useful as pawns at that point, especially considering, I believe, Lily already has the infusion or the purification with Xenon's demon. So I don't see how, unless they can multi-purify or something like that, or Xenon doesn't count anymore because now he has a demon heart. I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see where the plotline goes with these 3, and if they're going to become paladins or some sort of higher ranked holy warrior, or if they're ever going to be revived at all. It's entirely possible that none of that happens, and Lucius just used them all as power conduits and magical tools, because hey, that's all they're worth right now, with all of them either being on the brink of death and or just flat out dead. So I don't know. It's very interesting to see them. I wonder if we're going to get rematches. Is Magna going to need to run the ones with Dante again? Is Yuno going to have to throw down with Xenon one more time? And is Noelle going to have to get that run back on Vanica one more time too? I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see. However, with this being the case, kind of got off track talking about the Dark Triad, but Morris is like, whoa, wait a second. Hold on, a new body. Wow, your magic really is top tier. Now I'll be able to experience... Gone. One tap. I wouldn't, how... Notably, Lucius doesn't say a spell. He doesn't do anything. He just taps Shagashtar in the head, and suddenly you're overwritten. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. I wonder what the spell process is like. Does Lucius have to think of what directives he wants to give the people, or is it just simple brainwashing? And Lucius has soul magic, right? He doesn't necessarily have... I'm pretty sure it's soul magic. It isn't just mind magic, is it? Because if it is, if it's just soul magic, then how is he manipulating these people's entire... Well, I guess if you rewrite someone's soul, it's... Soul magic is interesting in Black Clover because it sort of intertwines the soul and the mind and the body, because every single series has a different interpretation of how souls work, but seemingly enough, Lucius, he got that special good, and the moment he taps Morris gets up and begins to walk away, and Lucius simply says, use your sorcery studies and modification magic as much as you like in the service of the world's true peace. And Morris is like, yeah, of course. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It's Lucius's power, both on a raw stats sense, obviously he ate Lucci whole. He got the half and half to combined, and now is as strong as Lucci on top of his already insane base strength. His power and manipulation is extremely interesting. It's super strange. I want to see the upper limits of it. How we're going to see the upper limits of it, I'm assuming we're going to get a hint of it, maybe a whiff of it, maybe a taste of it when we finally get the Yuno fight, whenever that is going to happen. Because admittedly, I thought the Yuno fight would have happened by now. That was set up a couple chapters ago. But hey, time flies when you're having fun. And with that being the case, I'm really intrigued to see, this guy seems nigh on unstoppable unless your name is Asta, who can pretty much just say, hi, you're magic? No. So I'm very intrigued. What do we really expect our captain class characters to do? They were useless against 50% Lucci. How are they going to deal with Lucius, his paladins that are able to wield 100% of these creatures' abilities infused with their own magic. Like, Lily low-key souls the captains right now. I ain't even gonna lie to you. So I'm pretty intrigued. I'm very intrigued to see what our fighting force is really gonna look like against the monsters that Lucius is and the monsters that he's creating in terms of Lily and the rest of the paladins. I don't know. However, a big thing that I kind of just glazed over is that Lucius said, I would like to give you as much salvation as I'm currently capable of. What does that mean? Does he have a limit? And why is there a limit? Is it because his family is not fully repaired yet? Is it because he's not able to use his gray deer form? Like, what is it? What is the limit to salvation, and what does that mean? Because I'm not exactly sure what other salvation he could have provided more if he could give him more. He gave him a fully functioning body and then brainwiped him. I don't know. Does that mean he just doesn't have another, like, high-level demon ready to infuse with Morse to turn him into a paladin like he did with Lily? If that's the case, then that makes sense. But interesting, he didn't say power. He doesn't say, then again, I don't think he actually necessarily said Lily that this is power. He said, oh, I'm just going to save you. Tapped her head, bada bing, bada boom. She was now a paladin. So maybe he just doesn't have, but then again, he stormed through the entire underworld. Like, he should have no shortage of creatures to infuse people with, especially someone like Morris. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I wonder what this limitation of salvation is and if it's ever going to come up again. Like, if maybe the reason he didn't just immediately capture Body Bag and turn all the captains right then and there is because he didn't have enough resources. He didn't have enough energy left for salvation. I wonder. Very interesting. However, of course, Lucius, he's a very busy man, so he wastes no time after corrupting Morris. Well, Morris was already corrupt, but corrupting him further. And he calls for Sister Lily. Interesting that he still refers to her as Sister Lily. Like, she's part of your covenant now. Like, unless you are now to be viewed as the deity that she's supposed to be the holy nun to, there's no reason for her to be called a sister anymore. At least under your new divine rule, I suppose. Or, yeah, you're calling yourself the Wizard Emperor, not even like the Wizard God, the Wizard Deity. So, I wonder why you still call her that. I mean, it's probably just namesakes and stuff like that. Like, just calling her Lily at this point would be weird. But regardless of that, we see that Lily answers, what is it? Daddy Lucius. I'm sorry. But he is Daddy Lucius. But regardless, we see that Lucius apparently is about the business. Bro knows way more. Because he says, far from here, there is an island nation known as the Land of the Sun. Its future has begun to destabilize. As far as we're concerned, it's an inconvenient future, one that could threaten world peace. Will you take the paladins and cut out that bad future from the root? And Lily happily says, yes, sir. Yes, daddy. And the thing is, right? Does Lucius see a bad future coming because Asta went there? Or is Asta a blind spot in his visions, like I believe he was implied to be, the one world anomaly that Lucius couldn't really account for? Or is it just because the Ryus and Seven have gains? I genuinely can't tell. Because at first, I thought maybe this is all part of like Lucius's Eyes and S plan. Like, yes, I'm going to send Asta to get even stronger, to deal with a threat that I haven't told anybody about yet, that I don't think I can beat on my own, but I will use Asta to manipulate his new level of power to do this for me. But now it seems like he's not even saying them because Asta's there or because Lily failed or anything like that. It seems like he doesn't know. He just senses a bad future coming from that direction. And if that's the case, I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued to get more on the inner workings of Lucius's mind and like see what he sees essentially. If we could get like, I think about it, it's rare for any villain that can see the future to do this. But like, if Tabata could give us a look at what Julius sees, or Lucius, whatever. If we could get a look at what he sees, what his perception is like he says, known as Island of the Sun, its future has begun to destabilize, meaning that it had a stable future, but now he's seeing like fractures and different ways it could go. Like, I want to know what that looks like, because can he see why? Is there a reason why? Or does he just get a general bad feeling and is sending the paladins to just wipe it all out? I genuinely don't know. I'm very intrigued to see what this could mean overall. And like, if Lucius actually knows, or if Asta showing up there was still just an absolute mistake or subconscious action on Lily's part, the part of Lily that still loved and cared for Asta. as a big sister. Like, I really wonder, because there's the anomaly. He is the anomaly. He could have just broken the system by pure accident. However, we do get to see that Lily is guiding the paladins, because she's explaining that Master Lucius is tied down right now, assumedly once again to his throne and doing something with his siblings, whether that be reviving them and or absorbing their energy. But with that being the case, she's like, even if it's a small worry and probably nothing, let's just annihilate it ourselves. And the paladins, as they are purely and absolutely loyal to Lucius, are like, we must not let a moment of his time be wasted. And it's interesting to see these, like, pseudo-divine beings just glide over the town. And ironically enough, the interesting thing is that they can't sense any humans in the town that they're at. Is Yorioku that much different? Is it just that fundamentally different than... Is it that fundamentally different than magic? Or is this Ryuya's doing, and he ended up seeing the future, noticing that they're coming, and then evacuating everyone from town so that there wouldn't be anyone there, so the Ryuzen 7 could battle undeterred? I don't know. But notably, they spot a certain Shinto gate, or at least that's what I assume it's a reference to. I played Ghost of Tsushima. That's all I know a Shinto gate from. But with that being the case, they spot it, and the one dude, I don't remember his name. Do they say it? Yeah, they probably say it somewhere in the chapter, but I just don't remember it. But he takes one look at the Shinto gate, raises a hand, and annihilates it. I don't know what his contract with what creature is, but bada bing, bada boom, it's gone. And then we see that due to the Shinto gate being gone, I'm assuming it had some sort of magical properties over the Black Sea, because the moment they do that, Lily goes to say, "Rule, if you would." And then Rule, that boy, is like, of course, anything for Daddy Lucius, and proceeds to go, and using the ancient secret call of holy howling, which is specifically that sound, 5 lights begin to appear within the dark sea, and rising from said darkness is the multi-headed beast known as the Sacred Dragon. And we see that apparently, instead of doing it themselves, they decided to get a little bit lazy, and using the power of the wicked, rather sacred dragon, they'll make the land of the sun a sacrifice for world peace. Once again, it really makes me wonder, like, bro, what is this? Wait, where did this thing come from? It looks so cool. But with that being the case, was it just always laying like, the thing's way bigger than I thought it was. Like, a single head of it towers over the castle, or like seemingly the main castle of the Land of the Sun. At least it looks like it. And that thing is crazy. It is a massive mess. So, like, what beat it again? The sun goddess came down or something like that? Like, you gonna need some help. That thing is beastly. And with that being the case, we get to see that no matter how beastly it is, the Ryuzen 7 are more than ready to take care of it. And they're even like, who would have thought we would ever end up facing off against the legendary 5-headed dragon? But no matter who it is, what it is, how girthy their gains are, as long as the Ryuzen 7 are here, we won't let you lay a finger on the Land of the Sun. But it is a dragon, so it highly likely does not have fingers. But regardless, we do get to see that we have seen 5 of the Ryuzen 7, 3 of which we were introduced to a couple chapters back. I don't recognize this new girl with the long katana that is right next to Ichika, but at the same time, we know that there are at least 2 more that we haven't seen yet. And interestingly enough, they seem to not sense the paladins. Like, they don't have any reaction to the paladins themselves. It's just mainly the dragon. And I get it, the dragon is massive. But interesting. I wonder how they're going to deal with the dragon, if it took like a sun goddess before to beat that thing. And with that being the case, we cut away to another part of the Land of the Sun. And we see Asta training, breathing, panting heavy on the ground. And a person says, "Come on, kid. Is that all you got? You're fighting the strongest member of the Ryuzen 7 here. Nobody cares about grit or how fired up you are. Just show me what you can do." And we see, seemingly, the last 2 members of the Ryuzen 7. This one, ironically enough, he looks like post time skip Asta in terms of like the upper body clothes he's wearing, and he's wearing a skirt. And then we get to see this cool guy in the back, who I'm assuming is the real Strunks that we're using 7, playing an instrument. I'm excited to see their abilities. However, with that being said, the chapter is not the longest. It is only a solid 15 or so pages, but regardless, it gives us a lot of interesting information. We get more background and info on Daddy Lucius and his current whereabouts and his current plans and his current metrics and why he sent the paladins over. We get to see the paladins using their abilities to revive the great ancient beast that slumbered long ago, and we get to see that Asta is continuing his training under the Ryusen 7, and he still is seemingly having trouble with their level of power, which once again shows that all the Ryusen 7 solo stomp, raffle stomp, 50% Lucci. I just hate to say it to you, it's just the law of the land. But regardless, I think it was a really solid chapter. However, that's what I think. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a potato mellow where you support for as low as $1 a month. Consistent exclusive videos, early content, and more. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach the Pencil, writing off.